Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with True Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat podcast.
What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat.
What's up? True Heel Heat. All hands is on me.
This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for our WWE Saturday night's main event and NXT Battleground Tampa Takeover preview, discussing this Saturday and Sunday's huge cards from WWE. You got Saturday night's main event on May 24th and NXT Battleground on Sunday, May 25th. So we got a lot to discuss, so we're going to get to it. But of course, I can't do any of these previews alone, so I am not riding solo. I am here with our good friend from over at the Wrestling Republic podcast, battle rapper extraordinaire and proud papa, Shad Tawks. Graps is here with us. What's going on, good brother?
Hey, man. What an intro. I wear many hats, including this one. I'm glad to be here, man. Last time I was here, I had the pleasure to talk with you and the homie Joe Pearl in regards to TNA, but I'm excited about this one, man. If y'all know me, I am on a Wrestling Republic broadcast almost every day, but more importantly on Tuesday nights. So I know a thing or two about NXT. We just did a review show a few hours ago last night reviewing NXT off the air. So I got a lot of thoughts, man, and some may be positive, some may be negative. We'll see how it goes.
Hey, I commend anyone who reviews NXT, because some weeks it could be the best thing in wrestling, and then there's other weeks where it's not.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it. I feel like they was hitting a big stride, and it's us as fans' fault. We was hyping HBK a little too much. We was calling him Booker of the Year last year, and this man done just it's like, all right, man, gotta be hard on him again.
It's like whatever Triple H be on, it be rubbing off on him. Like they be cheating off each other's homework too much, and like they getting the same grades right now. It seems like it looked like Triple H was on the downcline. Like the end of last year, I made my prediction that was the last great year of Triple H booking. But with Shawn Michaels, he was on the up at the end of the year. It looked like and then the beginning of 2025, he was cooking, and then I don't know what's happened.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of it, especially this show coming up on Sunday. I mean, on paper, there's some matches that really stick out, but like, I don't know, the build of it hasn't really been there. And I'm on the record always saying it. I feel like their women's division is super strong, but their men's division is super weak, like really, really weak. So. And a lot of it will show on this card. So, yeah, man.
We got a lot to discuss. We're going to discuss Saturday night's main event and then, of course, NXT Battleground. So we thank y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand as well. Either way, show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys. You were awesome yesterday on Rated Raw Review, some reminiscing on when people started following the channel. Always appreciate all the love in the live chat. And of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to get back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel in the best way possible, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate the support, and it goes a long way to help the channel grow even more. So we always appreciate that type of support. We got one of our members of the chat. You can become a member by hitting the join button for just $1 a month. Get your in-chat perks like I Make Beats, who says, good evening, gentlemen. Big weekend of wrestling ahead with these shows and Double or Nothing. Yeah, we got our preview for all the WWE major events this weekend today, and then Friday we'll be previewing AEW Double or Nothing. We'll have Joe Hobart of the Late Night Grin and Wrestle Purists, as well as our good brother Jay News on that one. So you got a big week ahead. We're doing content pretty much like until next Wednesday. We'll have like a live stream basically every day, Shad. That's how
Hey.
They gave me a day off for my birthday, and that was it. That's all I could get.
I'm about to say you be running on Wrestling Republic time. Like salute to the homie Ben. He's on the same thing. I feel like he got a video every single day, and we're on the dailies every day. So man, but hey, this is the beauty of it, man. Like you said, content for days this coming week, in this weekend especially. Like the two, big head companies got a lot for us. I'm really excited for Double or Nothing as well. That's going to be, Ospreay and Hangman alone, and then my CEO. A lot of y'all hate on the CEO, but I ain't never hate on the CEO. Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hayter. That's going to be remarkable. They've been killing the Owens this year.
Yeah, both of those Owens I'm looking forward to a lot. And of course, Anarchy in the Arena, Willow Nightingale, first woman to main event, an AEW pay-per-view. That's what I'm here for.
The girl got paid, bro. Let's go. You let us see it.
We got Greg Carter in the chat joining us today. Good to see you. We also got Valub in the chat as well. We got some love for Shadi in the chat saying we got Shadi up in here, says I Make Beats.
That's my boy, man. Like he always shows a lot of love to me and WR. And he's a dope producer too, man. So like y'all tap in with I Make Beats. He lived by his name.
Yeah, he's one of our loyal people. We always see him in the chat, always show him some love. He says shout outs to Wrestling Republic. Great stuff over there. Love talking shop with Shad and the boys. Yes, sir. Tell everybody if they haven't know about Wrestling Republic, which you should be following them as well, because they doing content, some great content over there. Let the people know about it, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Wrestling Republic, we are a media platform that's out in the UK, but we got a big podcasting team with a lot of people on the daily broadcast on YouTube, Spotify, as well on the website. Man, we got our own reviewing system. So kind of similar to what you see with Dave Meltzer, our good brother Kobe. He's created a whole scale and his whole team. So you guys probably see a lot of Wrestling Republic because y'all always go ham on the scores and ratings in regards to matches, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. But yeah, man, we definitely active, man. You definitely, follow the Instagram, YouTube, all of that as well. Because we just like SP3 and True Hill Heat, man, we dishing out content every single day. But more importantly, make sure you watch NXT Off the Air because I'm on that, as well as Sunday Spotlight because I'm on that.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, gotta plug your stuff, man. Gotta plug your stuff, man. Up here. Thank you to Zach in the chat. It's this nice t-shirt. I appreciate you. Gotta show my Deadpool love. We got Volop who says this week's NXT was kinda. Yeah, I was up I was just like, yo, what happened to my lovely NXT? They had Jordynne Grace and Julia have a straight up stardom to Joshi drop people on heads matchup that was awesome. And then after that show, it's kind of been kind of shaky the last couple of weeks.
Man, and we talked about it on X earlier. I don't trust Triple H or Shawn Michaels to handle a rap segment on television.
Dude, I did not expect it to be that bad, yo.
I thought Trick was gonna be able to do something because Trick is naturally so charismatic, and I've seen his video of I think it was the one towards Ethan Page. It was funny, but they let him go there live. Mike try to rap in front of the crowd. It just came off so he let Joe kind of smoke him last night, and I don't even think Joe was on his top.
Joe reused the song against Brian Myers. He just reused it because the original song was Your Edge's Bitch, and he just made Mello's Bitch. Joe wasn't even that good, but yes, he was better than Trick because Trick broke character and smiled in the camera because he couldn't keep up with his backtrack.
And he picked the worst people to try to say average Joe. Some of them in the crowd could barely even hear them say the word. So it came off bad. As a rapper, I talked about it extensively yesterday on the Off the Air. It wasn't a good look. It's just as bad as and salute to the homie. I saw him on the intro, AJ Francis. That man is incredible, and he does a lot for hip hop being pushed into wrestling. But I remember when they had Hit Row rap a cipher on SmackDown just randomly. And it was in, I don't know, Wisconsin or something like that. People who don't even listen. And they didn't know who they were like that as well because they just got called up. And you get an awkward segment, not a lot of people interacting. You set them up for failure when you do that.
You're absolutely right. And he needed the earpiece. He needed the earpiece to hear what he sounded like. He's trying to do it over the crowd speakers and he could barely hear himself. Yeah. So that's why he couldn't keep up with the background track.
The background, exactly. You have to, for live wrestling shows and stuff, even though I'm not the biggest fan of him, I feel Max Caster does it really well in regards to his entrance, the early part of it. Yeah. Slow beat. His flow isn't too complex. He gives you a couple punchlines that he's written. He gives you references that people in the crowd are gonna get, and there you go. It's simple as that. It don't need to be complex. It's not like you're rapping at Rolling Loud or nothing like that. It's just a PC. All right, you see these people every week. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I was like, damn, I don't know what was worse, the quality of the show, some of these West Coast rappers against Joey Badass, or that Trick Williams performance. I was like, it's been a rough week for us. It's been a rough week.
It definitely has, and the thing I also noticed, man, they really the reason for our NXT Off the Air shows. We've had a pattern when it's a show going into a pay-per-view PLE, we tend to just talk about the PLE more than talk about the review of the show because I feel they half-ass the show for whatever reason. So
This is true. They do have that habit.
except for the legacy kid. He showed out last night.
Yeah. Yeah, that match was awesome. That was the best part of the whole
Mm-hmm.
show. Like him, Javon, and Ashanti Diadonis, they showed out in that matchup. But like that was the peak of the show, and that was the opener.
Yeah, it fell off a cliff after that.
James Hayes, yes, he says, hello, will there be live coverage of Double or Nothing this weekend? Yes, I believe Romeo's going to be doing the watch party with us, and we're also going to have a review of Double or Nothing on Monday. It'll be myself, Professor Chris, and Jay News for the review of Double or Nothing, so you could join us live. We'll probably be going live 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, and of course, we'll have the live watch-along on Sunday, so join us for both of those. Got a bunch of love for your CEO in the chat, saying Patrick Bell, saying finally someone showing real love to the CEO.
Oh, yeah. Dog, I'm a huge Mercedes fan, man. That's like honestly, like her and Becky are my two favorite women's wrestlers of all time, and I love everything that she's doing out of the WWE. I think this has like probably been my favorite iteration of Mercedes. Sasha Banks is the work that she's been doing out in Japan, what she's doing in AEW, really kind of being a real needle mover for a whole division. So you gotta respect it. You gotta love her, man.
Absolutely agree with you there. We got some CEO love there. We got some shade being thrown towards Romeo because he ran from the grind yesterday for Rated Raw review. But don't worry, he's going to be here this weekend. I believe in him. He runs to the grind for the watch parties. We got Greg Carter II who says Joey Badass getting jumped and winning. He's like Sting against the NWO right now.
Bro,
he's got a bat and he's just walling out.
I'm a battle rapper and he's beating pissed down Daylight's leg, and that really like makes me sad to see because Daylight's one of the best battle rappers of our time, but like his tracks on Wax have kind of been whatever, but Joey's definitely like locked in. And he coming back to back with it. He's really going crazy.
I was like, he out here acting like Unique in season 4 of Raising Kanan. He out here wilding. He treating these battle rappers like they rock out here in these streets. Like right. I love it. I love to see it.
Yeah, man.
But yes, we got a lot to discuss with the two big shows. We're going to start off with WWE Saturday night's main event, since that's going to be the first big show of the weekend. As always with our pay-per-view PLA previews here, Shad, I'll ask you, what is your kind of anticipation level, your hype level for Saturday night's main event first from 0 to 10?
Like a 4?
I don't blame you.
Like a 3? Look, man, I hate shows on NBC personally because they're going to be a shit ton of commercials like the last couple ones. Shameless plug, we will be doing a watch-along for Saturday Night Main Event. But honestly, man, the reason I'm not a big fan of it is because it's just, besides maybe the tag team match, the card looks like a whole lot of I don't care about. John Cena, R-Truth, y'all know I have a lot of respect for K Quick, Ron Killings, man. R-Truth is funny himself. I don't care to see this match or anything tied to it at all. It just doesn't do a lot for me. And I do not like Logan Paul whatsoever. I think he is arguably the most overrated like person provided to the WWE, how people talk about him. And it's not me talking about him as a individual. I don't give a shit about that. I don't know him like that because that's ahead of my time or whatnot. His appeal is not to my generation. But the issue I have is the fact that people act like he's a remarkable wrestler when the benchmark for him is so low and he's so good he's a good wrestler as a celebrity, but they make it seem like he's doing death-defying stuff in the ring, and they give him people that can lead the way. I mean, you get to wrestle Roman, Cody, Ricochet. Like, these are guys that don't have bad matches ever, you know? Yeah. Rey Mysterio. But now it's going to be a different test. He's going against a guy that gets a lot of criticism for how he is in ring. And I love Jey Uso, So I'm curious to see how it is for him now. Is he gonna, rise above the occasion, or is he gonna be exposed?
Yeah, that's a very interesting one. I will put it at a modest. I'll go like 5. I'll go higher than you, but not that high. I'll go a 5 because I agree with you. I think the main matches are kind of womp womp womp. While the middle matches, I'm actually interested in. I expect those to be good. But like the 2 top matches with Cena not even defending the title, which is hilarious to me. It's hilarious. We're doing a John Cena big matchup during his 17th title reign, and it's not even for the title. And I don't blame them for not putting the title on the line, because it would have been outrageous to have R-Truth get a shot at the WWE Championship. But still, you shouldn't be doing the matchup at all. I would be more interested in this matchup if it was a rap battle than an actual wrestling match. I think I would be.
that would be more entertaining. It just doesn't. I mean, R-Truth hasn't done anything to take you serious as a competitor in the longest time. Like, he's last known for the 24/7 shit that he was doing, and then the Judgment Day stuff. Okay, that, and I know him and the Miz were tag team champs, but like, I don't know. He's in a very safe place with what he does on TV, and I don't have any problem with that. But this is the Universal Champion, and it's Cena trying to play the greatest hit, so it is what it is.
We got -3 in the chat, a -10 in the chat.
He from Maryland though. I see his little Effie.
It was more stoked for Battleground than Saturday Night's Main Event. Don't blame you. And I agree with your assessment of Logan Paul. I've been saying it. I feel like this guy has honestly regressed from where he was. He's regressed because now he's not like the spot fest type wrestler. Now he's trying to have WWE style matches, and it's worse matches than he was having before. Like him and AJ Styles, I said when Dave Meltzer gave that match 3.5 stars, I was like, this might be the most overrated 3.5 star matchup I've ever seen. I did not give it 3.5 stars. I said it was 2 stars at best because it's AJ Styles and it was boring.
Yeah, it must be off of the merit that he respects AJ Styles as an in-ring competitor, because that match, I highly agree with you. I don't think it was anything appealing. I mean, I really don't know what is the appeal of him as I know he's a celebrity. He's not charismatic to me. And I think I had this debate with some friends in my group chat who are younger than me, obviously, so they probably see the fame in him. But I'm like, I'm going to grade him as a wrestler because he said he's a wrestler. If he's a wrestler and he didn't have his name, he probably would be sitting backstage eating potato salad and catering, or wrestling on not this main event, the main event that they put on Hulu. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Now they don't even put it on Hulu. They put it on YouTube for free.
Oh man, I didn't even know that. It still won't get me to watch it.
Yes, I totally agree. Like, I think I really liked Logan Paul when he first started, but like I've said multiple times, he's regressed in the ring and on the mic. Like on the mic, he just sounds like he's a podcaster trying to play wrestler instead of just. And when you see him like on his like vlogs and his podcast, you're like, why can't you just do that on wrestling? Why are you trying to put up this front? Like you're a wrestler on wrestling when you're just natural kind of naturally your personality, who you are. If you just turn that up to 10, it will be a much better promo and a much better character on TV. But he's trying to play Logan Paul, the wrestler, and it just comes off completely fraud. He's fraudulent with it.
For sure. He's definitely fraudulent with it. And I think that's the best way to put it. He is trying to play a wrestler when he is brought in here to be himself. So I don't get it, man. It's not. It is what it is.
We do have a super chat donation before we start with the predictions. Vala, thank you so much for the support. He says, I love Uncle Ron, but I don't want to see Truth versus Cena for a world title. And he also added, wait, it's not a title match? And then he also added, I still don't want the match.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like you said, the middle is the sweet spot, that tag match, and then the cage match, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
also, there's not a women's match on this card.
Nope,
So
nope.
like what like I don't that's the other thing I don't get as well is the fact that y'all have had pretty like significant women's matches on your TV the last couple weeks. One being Tiffany versus Nia Jax on SmackDown, I think it was last week, which was an
Yeah.
incredible match. Why couldn't that have been on like this pay-per-view? It's a title match. Tiffany is pretty main stage. Nia Jax is a former champion and has been doing remarkable stuff. Could have been the perfect, cherry on top for their rivalry instead of doing it on SmackDown. I don't get it.
It was a weird decision. I agree. That match was a lot better than I thought it would be. It was a very good matchup, and that would have fit on this card. But here we go. We got a 4-match card because Triple H has gone from 5-match merchant to 4-match merchant in 2025. But let's talk about the matchup we've been talking about a lot here, as it will be John Cena going one-on-one with R-Truth. Of course, R-Truth for years now has says that John Cena is his childhood hero, that he's been a fan of John Cena since he was small, despite being older than John Cena. It's been kind of a recurring joke, a recurring gag on TV. I remember Cena teamed up with Truth and Miz after WrestleMania 40 when they won the World Tag Team Championships last year. And then you turn into this year where John Cena has turned heel, the big heel turn at Elimination Chamber, the alliance with The Rock and Travis Scott, which parlayed into Cena defeating Cody Rhodes to become a record-breaking 17-time WWE champion. He faced Randy Orton at Backlash in Randy Orton's hometown of St. Louis. He was on the verge of defeat in that matchup as Orton went for a punt kick, but it was R-Truth who came out and made the save that stepped into the way. He got an RKO for his troubles, but it led to Cena picking up the victory with a low blow and a title belt shot. And then after Backlash at the post-media scrum, Cena came in very humble and wanted to speak to the media finally, but before he could even answer a question, in came R-Truth to congratulate him on the win and also say that he is still his favorite wrestler despite everyone disrespecting Cena and saying that he can't wrestle. That led to Cena getting very upset with Truth and telling him that if he said one more thing, he would pay some consequences. Truth decided to say one more thing, and Cena lifted him up on his shoulders, put him through a table with an AA. That led to this past Friday night SmackDowns, where R-Truth had a sit-down interview with Wade Barrett, where he says that he wants to beat some sense into his childhood hero and make him back into the John Cena that he looked up to. So that's why he talked to GM Nick Aldis to get a match for Saturday night's main event, where it will be Cena versus Truth. First time since Capital Punishment in 2011 that they will face on a major event like Saturday night's main event. This won't be for the WWE Championship. It's personal. My God, why
Capital
are we
Punishment.
doing?
DMV, that was in DC. I wasn't there for that, but I do recall all the hype around it when it was going on.
It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is not the John Cena run that I wanted when I first predicted him turning heel. I was like, he versus Orton at Backlash, he versus Punk at Money in the Bank. And I was looking at he versus like AJ Styles, he versus new stars like Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes. I did not have R-Truth on my bingo card for this.
My goodness, it doesn't like even you explaining the build to it, like a lot of it was just kind of hyper rushed to get to where we are now. And I mean, look, the match quality itself, it's gonna I feel like for John Cena's sake, for what he is physically at this point in his career, I feel like all his matches are gonna kind of be similarly booked to the Randy match. You just got to overbook it to try to bring entertainment factor. And this one might have some comedy aspects to it. with R-Truth, because there's no way in hell in 2025 that these guys are going to come out there and deliver a match that's going to be fulfilling for us wrestling fans. Like, it's going to be less than desirable on that.
I have no idea what this match is supposed to be. I mean, if it goes over 5 minutes, I'd be surprised. But I'm not going to be surprised, because that's kind of what they do. They drag stuff out a lot longer than they need to be. I didn't expect Orton and Cena to go nearly 30 minutes, and they dragged that out for sure. But who do you think is going to get the victory here? I mean, I'm asking this like I don't know your answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Cena. I think Cena, the smart thing to do is, like you said, short and sweet. Cena just needs to beat him down, like, and make him, like, give him a proper beat down and let us feel like, oh, you destroyed somebody we really love in R-Truth. A fan favorite, somebody that everyone wants to cheer for, and really hone in more to the heel aspect of it. I would hope that's the idea of it. But like I said, that's something that, like, could have been done on, like, a Raw, but he's limited on these dates, so they gotta mean something when he comes through. But yeah, I got Cena.
Yeah. Hopefully this is like a Cena destruction, like he just completely destroys R-Truth and gets some heat for it. I expect the crowd to be hot because it's Cena, and Cena's gonna get a big reaction. But it's John Cena. Why are we wasting one of our precious dates? We only got like less than 25 dates
like
left.
24 after this one, right? Something like that.
I think it's like 23 after this one. Like,
okay.
we're running out of dates, and we're wasting it on R-Truth.
Yeah, it's man. The more I can't believe it's kind of happening still to this point. Even like even the backlash thing with Truth coming out, I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case. I know everybody was like predicting it, and I felt like it was going to happen, but I was trying to sell myself that no, they won't do this. But they did it, and then he gave him a attitude adjustment at the press conference. Like, it's just ass. I ain't gonna lie.
Patrick Bell, he says, y'all don't like the Cena side quest, laughing emoji. No, it's the fact that, like, John Cena's heel turn, I did a biggest heel turns of all time list. Mm-hmm. And, I listed stuff like Mr. McMahon turning heel with the Montreal screw job, Austin turning heel at WrestleMania 17. And of course, the biggest heel turn, I don't think anything will top it, is Hulk Hogan turning heel and joining the NWO. Now go back and remember 1996 after Hogan turned heel. What was he doing after that? He immediately wins the World Heavyweight Championship against the Giant. Then who does he feud with after that? Macho Man Randy Savage. Who does he feud with after that? Roddy Piper, just coming to WCW. He would feud with Lex Luger and Sting, and these are all top names. Austin, after his heel turn, a much maligned heel turn that everybody says did not, in retrospect, shouldn't have happened. But still, after he turns heel, what does he do? He has a steel cage matchup with The Rock the following night. Then he feuds with The Undertaker, the Brothers of Destruction. He feuds with Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. He's in the leading role in the whole Invasion storyline. He feuds with Kurt Angle. John Cena, he beats Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. He faces Randy Orton at Backlash, and he's facing R-Truth on a major event after that.
And the other thing is this, I feel like they're starting to, like, I think the belt meant so much after Cody beat Roman Reigns for it. And even a little bit of, like, I thought Cody's reign wasn't bad. I know a lot of people are.
It was good.
It was solid, right? But it still held a lot of merit just off of that. Cena doing this, it does feel like it's just like, okay, it's for the vibes. But when he loses it, it's just like, okay. Like, I feel like it takes a little bit of prestige away from the belt when we have like you mentioned earlier, like, I was expecting a little bit more going into it. Obviously, going against some of his biggest rivals like Randy, but like also having an opportunity to go against some of these phenomenal people that they have on the roster now would have been beneficial too. Like, and I know a lot of it does go with the heel turn, but mean, this is just kind of a wasted side quest. It's not even like a side quest that I'm super excited about, you know?
Yeah, like if you're gonna do a side quest, it should at least be entertaining and intriguing. This is not that. This is not that at all. But I agree. Cena's gonna win, and he's probably gonna win easily here. But let them talk on the mic for like 10 minutes. Maybe that will be more entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, maybe them making it non-title can allow people to potentially think it'll be a little bit of he wins by the dastardly roll up or something like that. You never know, but it's gonna be a Jord off. Both of them are gonna be wearing baggy ass jorts, and that's the other thing. He's gonna dress up as him. I know that's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah. He'll probably dress up like in one of his old shirts, like his profile picture on Twitter. He'll probably do one of those. But like we said before, the middle matches is where it's at. The middle matches is what will be the most entertaining on this card, starting with a steel cage matchup. It will be Drew McIntyre going one-on-one with Damian Priest. This rivalry that dates back to Priest cashing in Money in the Bank on Drew back at WrestleMania 40. It seems like it's all going to culminate at Saturday night's main event. Of course, the two men battled in one of the better matches of WrestleMania weekend in a Sin City street fight, with Drew McIntyre picking up the victory. But things did not end there. Priest tried to cost Drew his number one contenders matchup for the United States Championship against LA Knight after WrestleMania, but it led to all three of those men competing against Jacob Fatu at WWE Backlash in a very fun four-way matchup where Priest delivered a South of Heaven chokeslam off some production crates through a table, nearly giving Drew a concussion where he hit his head right on the ground. Priest apparently suffered a mouth injury in the middle of that matchup as well. And these two men have said that they want to settle this once and for all. And the best way to do it is inside of a steel cage for a feud that really was presented as us because of the reporting of how Drew felt about the feud going into WrestleMania as a nothing feud. I think they've made the most out of this and made this into an entertaining rivalry that we've seen since before WrestleMania into WrestleMania and then the fallout from WrestleMania over the last month. So I'm looking forward to this one. What have you thought about the build to this matchup, and who do you think wins on Saturday?
Yeah, this is one of the rare matches and feuds just currently in WWE that I have enjoyed a lot. I think both of these guys are super underrated, even though, Drew has reached the top of the mountain before, and he was, arguably the MVP of WWE last year for his work. And then Damian Priest, man, I got nothing but great things to say about him. I thought, he got big opportunities, and, the story of him cashing in on him and them kind of making it this ongoing, just always on site type of situation. It has been great. I know the reports did say that, and I can kind of feel Drew. I don't think it has anything to do in regards to Priest. I think it's just the fact that, he probably, deserves to be on the top on one of these potential main event type of matches. But I mean, this could probably be match of the night, just because, one, I know the chemistry with these two guys is there. Like you mentioned, they had a phenomenal match last go around, and it's also the fact that it's going to be in a steel cage, and this is the final match within this feud. So I think it's going to be special. I think it's going to be one of them ones. Winner though, I think I'm going to lean towards Drew McIntyre. I think he needs to get positioned to the top of the card soon, especially on SmackDown. I think the main event scene could use him. I think he's also one of the most he's kind of like Bailey. He's so selfless where he's able to kind of take the L's and make people look good. I think it's time for him to get a big opportunity, a big win again, and really start building him to the top of the card. So I am going to go with Drew McIntyre.
I'm gonna go a little bit different. I'm gonna say Damian Priest here. I went where Drew in the Sin City Street fight, and I thought that would be the end of the feud. But the fact that this feud has continued going, the fact that we got the recent report, I believe it was from PW Insider or WrestleVote, that talked about how Drew is getting, Damian is getting a lot of praise for his work in this matchup, and the fact that he's banged up right now. I think that you give Damian Priest the win here, and then you can parlay that into probably Damian Priest getting another opportunity at the United States Championship and facing Jacob Fatu. I think that's a direction that you could go. If Cody was still WWE champion, then I'd say, yeah, Drew gets the win, and then he's the next challenger for Cody Rhodes. But the fact that Cena is the WWE champion right now, so the only kind of active singles title on SmackDown is Jacob Fatu in the US Championship, I think Priest gets the win, and then you parlay that into him being the number one contender.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could actually see that too, to be real with you. I mean, Priest is definitely I like that he's getting his flowers by the people at the top of the food chain over there and behind closed doors. Cause like, yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I think the guy, like, he really doesn't do bad. Like, he literally was a big part of all of that Judgment Day stuff, and then becoming a babyface through the process. I mean, the dude had a banger with Bad Bunny. You know, talk about a real celebrity, not Logan Paul. Bad Bunny.
That's true. That's still probably his best match that he's ever had in his career. Like, still to this day.
I love that match. It's so like, I think just the fact that it was a street fight and he sold so well for Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny to me also, for a guy who like isn't a wrestler at all, like he just coming out there with his music playing, you know what I'm saying? Like in his home country, he felt like, I don't think I've ever felt anybody feel like a bigger star coming out of an entrance than he has. Like, that felt like a legitimate concert. So I think the vibes of everything of it was great. And a lot of that is attested to Priest, you know, being that. And that's a good type of overbooked stuff too.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. I wouldn't mind what Greg said in the chat if they brought back the blue cage. Bring back the blue cage. This is a night full of nostalgia. Yes. Bring back the blue cage. That's what I grew up on. I would love to see that. And I feel like with the steel cage, you can also do it in a way where Priest escapes the cage and Drew doesn't really lose anything because he didn't really lose in the matchup. I could see that being the way that he gets the win too. But I think this is one that could go either way. Whereas the next match, like I said, is going to be one of the better matches on the card, but I think there's only one result to go with. But let's talk about it in a big-time all-star tag team matchup. It will be the new Dangerous Alliance, as we call them here on the channel. Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker with Paul Heyman in their corner will face CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Of course, at WrestleMania 41, it was Seth Rollins who picked up the biggest win of his career, defeating CM Punk and Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 41 Night 1, thanks in large part to Paul Heyman turning on his best friend and his tribal chief to align with Seth freaking Rollins. The following night on the Raw after Mania, it was Bron Breakker who joined forces with Rollins and Heyman to beat down Punk and Roman. And then the following week, it was Sami Zayn who stepped up to his former friend Seth Rollins and basically told him that he was nothing more than a hypocrite for aligning with the one person that CM Punk and Roman Reigns, his arch rivals, had in common in Paul Heyman, and becoming exactly what he hated about Roman Reigns. This led to Seth basically giving Sami the option to leave Monday Night Raw and get out the way, which Sami denied because he wouldn't let his former friend threaten him of moving off of Monday Night Raw. It led to Rollins and Bron taking out Sami and beating him down. Then the following week, it was Seth versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Sami tried to get involved, but Bron Breakker was there to stop him. Seth was on the verge of victory when CM Punk made his return to Monday Night Raw and cost Seth Rollins the World Heavyweight Championship. The following week, Seth and Bron wanted to make Punk a victim, but Sami and Jay had his back, setting up this big-time tag team matchup. They had a molting hot brawl on Monday Night Raw with CM Punk receiving one of the most earth-shattering pops that we've heard in recent memory in Greenville, South Carolina, with all four men brawling into the crowd. But this Saturday night's main event in Tampa, who's going to walk out the victor? Shadi, what have you thought about this rivalry here? Everything that's going on with Seth, Heyman, and Bron and that new faction, which still doesn't have a name. They just need to call them Dangerous Alliance 2.0 or just Dangerous Alliance. Just call it. Just do it. But what have you thought about everything that's gone down with these four men?
Yeah, I love it, man. I think I'm a big fan of all four guys. If you can't see, there's a painting my wife painted of Sami Zayn right over here. Him cutting a promo in Saudi Arabia. I'm a big Sami Zayn fan. My son's name is Sami. He's not named after Sami Zayn, but coincidence over there. And I think he's just one of those guys that has such he plays the role so well, but as a babyface, he just hard not to root for him, and then Punk being tied to all of it. But man, this faction, man, Seth Rollins, the guy who doesn't get the love that he should get for how amazing he does anything they ask him to do. He is the easiest, like his good brother John Moxley at times, not as much now. When you gotta call his number, he's gonna answer the phone and he's gonna deliver for you in the main event scene. And I think the whole swerve with him and Paul and aligning Bron Breakker has been great. I think the chaos with these guys has been great. This is the match I'm most excited for going into this show, and this is why it is a 4. Most of the points are coming from this. But it's got to be Seth and Bron. I mean, this team is brand spanking new. You need to really establish them as a unit, as a force. Bron Breakker needs to really show people time and time after, especially on big stage opportunities like this, why he's the next man up. Why he is supposed to come out as the Batista in this situation of this is evolution, like he needs to really be the top guy coming out of it. And you do that by letting him go ahead and do the dirty work, shake it up with someone like CM Punk, who is a legend, with a vet like Sami Zayn, and, just keep making them a dominant threat. Let Seth get another win over Punk in the process. I'm gonna go with them, man. I got Punk. I got Seth and Bron Breakker winning this.
I gotta agree with you. This is like one of the more obvious choices outside of Cena. Cena being true,
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is one that is needed because I think that Seth and Bron, they need some kind of wins to kind of solidify them as the top faction in WWE. Like, first of all, like I said before, they need to just confirm what their name is, because these two guys, with Heyman is great together. I've always said, though, we just need Paul Heyman to do most of the talking. Seth Rollins still trying to do his babyface stick is not working for me. Mm-hmm. I do agree with you. Seth is the workhorse. Like, he's probably been the most disrespected and underrated top star of WWE over the past decade. I've gone through rants on this channel so many times talking about all the people that have skipped over Seth Rollins, from Roman Reigns to Cody Rhodes to CM Punk to his own wife, like Rhea Ripley. And now he feels like he's in the best place, the best footing that he's possibly got. He's got Paul Heyman by his side, the power broker. He's got Bron Breakker, who's the future of the industry. And I feel like this group needs this win. They need to bolster their numbers. They need new members of the group. But the first step is them getting a victory here. So I think they get the win. I've seen somebody, I think it was Dion. Yeah, he said, I would like for Bron Breakker to pin CM Punk. That would be huge for him. I won't go that far because you got to protect Punk, especially after that earth-shattering pop that he got.
My boy Sami Zayn is definitely taking the pin.
He's here to take the pin.
Yeah, I love Sami, but he's definitely taking the pin on Saturday.
I do agree there. Dion also saying if Sami doesn't win a world title next year, I have no faith that he'll ever win it. I got to give it up to Romeo. Romeo says he thinks that Sami's winning the Royal Rumble next year since it's in Saudi Arabia.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that is a good. That's a good call. I forgot that it was in Saudi. That would make a lot of sense. I know a lot of people are predicting, potentially Sami versus Seth for next year
Yeah.
at Mania. I'm here for it personally. I think the guy is phenomenal. I think he should have been the one to beat Roman Reigns when it was the opportunity in Montreal. But we'll have to wait and see, man. He's one of those guys that like I have confidence that it could happen, but on the same side, I'm just like I don't know. It really I have to wait and see. But he's well deserving of it. But if he doesn't win it, if he doesn't win the Rumble in Saudi, I don't know if he will win the world title in the WWE by the time, because it ain't like he's super young. Obviously, he's like probably in his 40s, so he probably got a good. I mean, a lot of these guys can work for like 10, 15 plus years, but I don't know how long he wants to do this for too. So
yeah, and he has a lot on his bump card, especially from his days as El Generico, and I've seen all the matches with the Briscoes and stuff like that. We got I Make Beats who says, will Seth wrestle heel this weekend, SB3, or still try to be a babyface? Yeah, like I like the matchup with Jey Uso, but I said here on the channel that the one thing that I did not like about it was Seth still trying to do the same moves he was doing as a babyface. He needs to work as a heel. He needs to talk like a heel. He needs to work like a heel in the ring. I feel like he does not want to get booed, which is your whole goal if you're the top heel. So I'm hoping that this weekend we see some slight changes to his in-ring repertoire.
No, I agree. I think he needs to kind of hone in more onto the heel persona now that he has turned in line with Paul Heyman. Like, screw the fans singing that song, worrying about all of that, man. Just you join the dark side, man. You align with Paul Heyman. You know what I'm saying? Paul Heyman's the ultimate heel now, man. He cutting up at comedy shows. He's shooting at people on Pat McAfee show. Paul Heyman's gone even more full heel now. So you gotta kind of get in line, not to that extent, Seth, because I think Seth has morals, not like Paul.
Not like Paul. We've known for a long time. Paul lost all his morals a long time ago.
Yeah, Seth is. I get it. Seth is a married man. Lovely wife Becky Lynch, little princess that they got. They're not like Paul. Paul tricking, man. He got like I'm like looking on his thing. He like I ain't like so I'm dumb. Someone sent me like the picture saying that like this is his girlfriend. I was like, Paul Heyman on some Bill Belichick shit. And then I was like, someone told me like, nah, he like runs like OnlyFans stuff. I was like, what? Like, when's he having time to do this shit?
My man out here, he is really Heyman Hustle. He is Heyman Hustle.
Definitely is.
And then finally, we got the main event of Saturday night's main event this Saturday. It will be for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jey Uso defending against Logan Paul. Of course, Jey Uso got the biggest win of his career at WrestleMania 41 when he tapped out Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, winning the title, having the Yeet celebration. And then immediately after WrestleMania, it was Logan Paul who stepped up to the plate, coming off the heels of his big victory over AJ Styles at WrestleMania 41. He made the challenge to Jey Uso. Jey Uso said he ain't gonna let no YouTuber, no podcaster beat him for the title, and laid out Logan Paul with a super kick. But Logan Paul immediately got his redemption for that as he knocked out Jey Uso backstage with the titanium punch. He did that yet again after Jey Uso retained the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins due to all the mayhem in the post-match with CM Punk of that matchup. He was celebrating with the fans, and then Logan Paul appeared in the crowd, knocking him out yet again. The third time that Logan Paul had knocked out Jey Uso, dating back to 2022 when he knocked out Jey Uso ahead of his matchup against Roman Reigns at Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel 2022. And then for a fourth time, he knocked out Jey Uso after Jey super kicked him to kick off Monday Night Raw this past Monday, after Jey won his matchup against Bron Breakker via disqualification. After Bron, Seth, CM Punk, and Sami Zayn fought through the crowd, it was Logan Paul who snuck up behind him and knocked him out for a fourth time to stand tall to end Monday Night Raw this week. So can Logan Paul make it a fifth time knocking out Jey Uso, or will Jey retain in his second title defense of the World Heavyweight Championship? What have you thought about the build to this matchup? And of course, who do you think is gonna win? It feels like the Cena question again, where I know where you're going this way.
Yeah, no, this is probably the match I'm least excited about the most, to be honest with you. Like, I said it earlier. I think the benchmark for Logan Paul is so low for people, where the fact that he can even just do simple wrestling moves allows us to have clouded judgment and think that he's an actual wrestler. I don't consider him a wrestler. He's not there week by week. He hasn't done anything in significance with his own title reign. You know, he's just a guy that is here off of the merit of his popularity, of his brand, and all of that. And it's a partnership, and that's why this match is happening. And it makes it feel like it's a real TV special, because you got the celebrity guy wrestling against the world champion. He's not owed this title. He hasn't won enough matches recently to be built into this, you know, on a card itself where you have a bunch of guys who I would rather see him go against on Saturday Night Main Event, on top of a bunch of other people that are also on the roster, man. Like, it doesn't excite me a lot. And then also with Jey Uso, man, I think it was a great moment for him getting the opportunity. And I can't deny the fact that the guy's got an immense amount of star power. But the issue with not him, but how they position him, is that they allow him to be the gimmick more than the actual character. And that's what kind of irritates me, because Jey Uso, to me, as a character, as a singles character at that, is incredible. We know the storytelling that he can tell. He is a big reason why the Bloodline storyline was great. The match with him and Roman, like with Jimmy throwing in the towel, that was just pure art within a lot of that pandemic era and a lot with the early Bloodline. I don't know why we don't go back to that a little bit. Why don't we kind of, humanize him a little bit more, and rather than running back his entrance, doing all the 25 times, you know what I'm saying? All of that. And it's fun, it's cool and all that, but like they do a lot of the gimmick with the yeets and the Pat McAfee's dumbass on top of the table going crazy, and all of that. Like I wish that they would treat him like the actual single star that he is. And like you said, man, this match feels just like a side quest for him, and he's actually going against someone who is technically a wrestler that has won gold, so I can't even call it that. So excitement for it's not up there for me, but I got Jey winning. No way in damn hell can they allow this man to be a world champion. I'm so sorry. If Logan Paul beats Jey Uso, the guy who has been driving the sales for merchandise and having all these people in the arena throwing their arms up and down and yeeting, and he loses to the YouTuber, the dude who sells that, fake ass Gatorade, I would be perplexed. So I got Jey Uso winning.
He's like, I might have to stop watching, but but no, I agree with you. I think that Jey has to win this one. They've already, I will say, they've done a great job of making the World Heavyweight Championship the most important thing on Monday Night Raw. The fact that you got Gunther already set up for the matchup on June 9th. The fact that you got Seth Rollins, who's aiming for the title, that it's all wrapped up in the Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, and Paul Heyman faction, and what they're doing with CM Punk and Sami Zayn. That's all interconnected on Monday Night Raw. So it's made the World Heavyweight Championship feel more prestigious, probably the most prestigious that this title has felt since they introduced the title 2 years ago. And a lot of that is helping Jey Uso to feel like more of a main event star in the process. So I like that they're doing all of that. And Logan Paul, I just felt from the very beginning after Jey won, he was a logical person to be a first title defense against, because no one's gonna believe that he's gonna beat Jey Uso. But hopefully, because Jey Uso is such the kind of endearing babyface and Logan Paul is so easily hateable, it's gonna have a great atmosphere to the matchup. You know who the babyface, who the heel is. Hopefully Jey, despite his limitations in the ring, he can deliver a good to great matchup with Logan Paul here, and Logan Paul can do his end of the job as well. So I'm hoping for the best for this matchup, but I agree, it's not one of the matchups I'm looking forward to the most on this card.
For sure. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Patrick Bell says, "Yup, this is Jey Uso's side quest to match Cena's." Yep, pretty much.
Ain't wrong.
And Dion says Jey will win. Titles don't change hands on Saturday night's main event unless they're crowning an inaugural champion like they did on the first one with Chelsea Green. Yeah, titles most likely ain't gonna change hands on Saturday night's main event. They gotta subvert our expectations and finally have one change hands on the title for us to believe.
Yeah, they should. Honestly, they should though. Like at some point, like it should definitely be built position for that. Like I don't know how you're going to sell fans to want to watch it. I mean, for this one, people are going to watch it because obviously Cena's on it. You know, you got Seth on it. Punk is on it. Jey Uso's on it. Logan Paul. So, like, eyes will be on the show. But in regards to just shows in general, like, I would definitely go through the process of, having a match on there. You got to put one of them damn mid-card belts on the line, like give an opportunity for that to get changed or whatnot.
I agree. That's a great way to phase it. Logan Paul is a filler arc villain, indeed.
That's a fact.
Indeed. All right, now we're going to talk about this second show from the Tampa Takeover this weekend on Sunday, May 25th, NXT Battleground. Before we get into that show, what do you think? I put it here on on my headline here. Tampa Takeover for 3 days. What do you think about the cancellation for NXT next Tuesday in Tampa due to the low ticket sales? I think that it was their expectations were way too high because Memorial Day weekend ends on Monday. So why were you trying to push it to Tuesday?
Yeah, people are going back to home after that. Like they're gonna go to the pay-per-view and then they're gonna go back home. Like you can't expect to do it 2 days in a row. And like we were saying, like the product is not as hot as it was 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember they did or even like 3-4 months ago, like they had the show in DC that they did in I think it was February. And like that's a hot crowd, but also that's a different crowd that you're going to. You're staying kind of in that hub of Florida with Tampa as well. So a lot of these people probably travel up and down the state to go to shows. So I'm sure it'll be a good size for a battleground, but for them to go that and then come to another show on Tuesday, yeah, it wasn't the right call. You got to spread it out a little bit.
Yeah, I feel for the guys who were probably told Ricky Saints and Ethan Page, who have their big North American title match. They were probably told, "Hey, we're not going to put you on Battleground, but you're going to be the centerpiece for the show on Tuesday in the big building. You're going to be the main event. So don't worry, we don't have you on Battleground, but we got you on this show." And now they're just going to be at the Performance Center.
Yeah, he's going to be at the PC. Yeah, no, that's true, man. That's a match that should have been on this card, to be honest with you, if that's the case. I mean, that's a former NXT World Champion going against a North American champion. Most importantly, former staples on AEW Dynamite.
Yes. Yes. Agreed there. So yeah, I think it was more of a matter of that's too much, and of course the ticket prices are like up the wazoo. And usually NXT, when they do their on location Tuesday shows, it's in smaller buildings. Like they were
Yeah.
trying to do the same building for
Yeah.
Raw and Saturday Night's Main Event and Battleground for a regular ass Tuesday NXT. Like you're wilding.
Yes.
You were not like NXT
That's
Battleground right
crazy.
now has 6,000 tickets sold. Like the Tuesday show had less than 2,000. Like they had 17% of the tickets sold for that show. They were wilding. So I think they made the right decision of pulling.
No, it's a smart call. Also, I got to ask you this because I said it on the show. Why Ricky got to go through the AEW Mortal Kombat ladder as his time over here? You
Sean
notice that?
Spears.
Lexus King, Ethan Page, like they got him going against all the former AEW dudes on his time there. It's kind of crazy. Cody,
Yo, that is wild. He's like Cody, I'm coming for you next. I'm coming for you. CM Punk. But yes, Great Carter said they were trying to kill the town in one weekend. Yeah, and they learned their lesson. They learned it pretty late in the game, but they're still gonna have people who come up. But that's a great analogy. The Mortal Kombat ladder of AEW.
That's the first thing I swear that was one of the first things I noticed. I was like, why he feuding with everybody that's like like he probably wrestled numerous times on Wednesdays and Saturdays and whatnot. So I thought it was funny.
I mean, we need more AEW talent so he can feud with them next.
Oh, hey man, I want to be. Look, they're running shit like how Tony was running shit when they was releasing. Like it's becoming a complete opposite. Now he's signing all of their guys and like it's strange. And I'm like I have no issues with it because for like someone like Ethan Page, for instance, I think him going to NXT was probably the best thing for his entire career. Just because I don't think he would have had an opportunity to show what he could do in AEW just because, like, I mean, bro, their roster is fucking stacked on the men's side. It's insane. And you're not going to get that opportunity. So sometimes going to a different place where it's not as many heads and allowing yourself to really, show your worth, that's the best thing that's happened to him. So, and the same thing will happen for Ricky as well. I'm sure. I think he's super talented. Like both of those two guys, like I got nothing bad to say about them. I do think the whole Tony fumble stuff is whoever fumbled, nobody fumbles really, man. It's just situations. You can only hope for the best for talent that they can find footing wherever they go next year. So
yeah, like I never got that, and I think it's corny because it's like you're saying it like they didn't do anything with Ricky. Sorry, he's a former AEW World Tag Team Champion. He's a Owen Hart Cup winner. He feuded with CM Punk. Like he did a lot in AEW. Yeah. He hit a ceiling, but they could have done more with him for sure. But that's not fumbling. That's not the same thing. No, that's false equivalency.
The reason they signed him is because they saw the work that he's done in AEW and his name that he built over there. So, like, they didn't see it as a fumble. They saw it as an opportunity to get someone talented. Like it's the same thing with Ethan Page. He is, like I said, he's just someone that it got to a point where the roster got built up so much where you lose opportunities, and luckily for him, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna get an opportunity to go elsewhere, and whether you call it bet on yourself, I don't know, but he probably it's the same shit with jobs and stuff. Like people, like I'm kind of tired of working here. I want to go somewhere else because I feel like it might make me more money, or I feel like I can do something better within my career. So like, the whole don't spend your money to just go think about somebody else, man. Like I'm just sorry, it's super strange.
It is. You're basically putting over Tony because you're talking about him more than the actual guy that you're trying to support. Like it's stupid.
Yeah.
But what is your anticipation level, your hype level for NXT Battleground this Sunday from 0 to 10?
So for this one, I won't go as low as Saturday Night Main Event. I think it's still kind of in the midway point. I'll probably maybe say like around a 6. A lot of that is just the matchup between Stephanie Vaquer and Jordynne Grace. I think that's just one of those like marquee Clash of the Titan matchups that WWE has, and just on the entire roster. Like I think you put, one of those two women on Raw or SmackDown, they might run the division sooner than later, given an opportunity. Like that, it's a special matchup. On top of the fact that you got, people like Femi on the card who is a straight beast. And then the match I'm kind of excited for, the cherry on top between Stacks and Tony D'Angelo to see, what's going on with that. So a little bit more excitement. But then again, on the other side of it, I think a lot of it is kind of like, I'm gonna be real. We'll probably talk about this in a second. Sean Spears' faction, I can't get with him, bro. Like it just does nothing for me. And the fact that they're going against a team that isn't a team, but that team looks more of a team than his team looks like a team, is crazy to me. Like you got the three, country boys, and they're not even really a team going against. Like I don't know what they're trying to build with this, like at all.
He was like, I don't even know what's going on here. But we got a good comment here by Dion who says, some talent are better suited for AEW. Some are better suited for WWE. I think he means AEW is more fast-paced in-ring action, and WWE is more slow, methodical storytelling. For example, Ricochet is a better fit in AEW. 100% agree.
To that point, though, so we're giving storytelling goes with character arc. Why wasn't Ricochet given an opportunity for character arc on that said company? Yeah. He is doing some of the best character work he's ever done in his career is happening right now on AEW. So that's, I get it and I don't disagree. I think AEW's whole mantra, that's where the best wrestle, is true. Like I think they do put a lot of focus on providing a lot of high quality matches, but I do think they do a good job with understanding the wrestlers. Like it's pro wrestling at the end of the day. People have such short attention spans with even watching matches. They want to get drawn in by entrances, characters, promos, all of that. And I still think they do a pretty, underrated job at that. It may not be to the level of stuff that we see in the WWE, but I still think it's pretty damn good for the most part.
Yeah, like you said, WWE is going to have that kind of staple or that mantra, that reputation of they're where the better character work or storytelling happens. In my opinion, I think the best two characters in wrestling this year have been Ricochet and Timeless Tony Storm, and that's both in AEW.
And they were both former WWE people. You know what I'm saying? With Tony Storm, that is a level of I don't understand how you didn't see that amount of charisma in that locker room and not try to push her like that. It's crazy to me. It's just the stuff that she does. Like my wife watches wrestling with me and she's like, oh, she's so funny and interesting as a character. Like she's just someone that captivates. And that's the shit that WWE is known for. Which is crazy to me. She would be literally board, having classic feuds with Becky and Rhea Ripley and Bianca, given an opportunity if she had that character. So mind-boggling.
We also got Power Driver Finisher who says, I felt that some folks mean they fumbled as in TK couldn't keep his talent, but I suppose for the ex-WWE guys, it's about not being used properly. But that's even stupid too, because TK didn't, he couldn't, you could say he couldn't keep his talent, but in actuality, he granted Ricky Starks a release. That doesn't mean he couldn't keep him. He could have kept him, but he didn't.
I don't get that at all. That's business shit that we don't know what goes on with these contracts and stuff like that. All of that is way over my head. I don't care to, I watched the from what I see, and I've heard a lot, I've seen a lot of people who work in AEW do have a lot of respect for Tony Khan. Even watching Maven's little vlog that he did where he was backstage there, and I saw a clip he was talking to Daniel Garcia, And Daniel Garcia was like telling him, like, yeah, like, you know, they booked my flight, they pay for my hotel flight, all that. And Maven was like, what the hell? Like, that never was a thing when I was wrestling back in the WWE. That's crazy. Like, little stuff like that. Like, even allowing to, like, what's his name? Like, with Ospreay, bro. Like, dude's literally traveling from the UK to the States, like, being accommodating to all of that. Like, he definitely care about his people. So I don't think it's a fact of not being able to keep. People just have aspirations and dreams, and like he is always gonna be fighting up the hill because it's the fucking WWE. They are what we know.
Exactly.
We know them as pro wrestling for the longevity from the existence of time for a lot of us. But the fact that this man in 5-6 years time has really created an entity, a promotion that is, you know, a incredible alternative, but also providing for so many people to have that same damn dream that they wish with WWE, but having it over here. Like, I don't get why people want to shit on it, hate on it, you know, say he fumbles, rooting him for him to fail. Like, it's not healthy for the thing. Because if you really care about wrestlers, you want this company to thrive and succeed.
Facts. I agree with all of that. We also, I feel like the Lucha Bros is a better example than a Ricky Starks because he did offer them a contract, but they just wanted to go the other way. Like what Shad just said. Like he's going against the basically the model. What people think wrestling is, they think WWE. Like there's people that grew up, that's the dream, and that was what the Lucha Bros wanted.
Yeah.
That's what somebody like Mariah May wanted. That's why we're probably not going to see Mariah May until her contract expires and she's able to go to WWE because she's made it clear to them that she at least wants to go into free agency because WWE is her dream, so she's going to at least hear them out when she becomes a free agent.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, with Penta and Ray, like Penta has made it known that his dream was to always go to like at least, and plus they've done so much in AEW too, so I can feel it. Like it's cool for them to kind of go to the next chapter in life and see what they want to do there, and it's worked out for him. I think Penta is probably like, I think as of now he's probably showing a lot of that superstar potential that we may have not seen in a while that he was in AEW, which is cool. But that's also like credit to him too. Like that's credit to Ethan Page. That's credit to Ricochet. Like these wrestlers also bust their ass to make this happen as well.
Yep, they can make either work. And we got another super chat donation from I Make Beats. Thank you so much, I Make Beats, for the love. He says, here's to Shad and SP3, best tag team since Fraxium. Hey, you know it. You know it.
I like that.
I don't know if I'm that fast, though. I don't know.
I'm sure as hell not that fast.
But thank you for the love, I Make Beats. But let's get into Battleground. For me, I will say my anticipation level is at a 6.5. Maybe after we talk about it, it will get up to a 7 because I am interested in a couple of these matches. But like you said earlier, I felt like the build wasn't as strong. The build for the last 2 shows haven't been that strong, but like I said, the build wasn't strong for Stand and Deliver, and Stand and Deliver was arguably better than both nights of WrestleMania. So
yeah, that's a good point. Stand and Deliver definitely showed out. So I mean, and they tend to do that sometimes too. Like I wouldn't be surprised after this weekend if we say Battlegrounds was way better than Main Event. You know, like it's just one of those situations. So man.
And we talked about it earlier, so let's give it the top billing for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. It will be Joe Hendry defending against NXT's own Trick Williams. These two men have been feuding with one another since the NXT following WrestleMania, where Joe Hendry came out to confront both Trick and Obafemi when Trick was looking for another opportunity at Obafemi's NXT Championship. It was Joe Hendry who put hit through threw his name into the hat for another opportunity at the NXT Championship. Trick took offense to that. It led to both Hendry and Oba throwing Trick out of the ring, getting rid of him. But Trick got his revenge by showing up at TNA Rebellion and blasting Hendry with the trick shot knee, laying him out in his own company. And these two men have been going back and forth between NXT and TNA over the last couple of weeks, with this rivalry getting more bitter, growing more animosity throughout this. Trick's been showing a whole new side of himself, a more darker, more heelish side, where he is fed up with Joe Hendry getting all the attention, getting all the love. It led to our rap battle last night with Trick Williams coming up with he's not gonna back down from an average Joe, while Joe Hendry called Trick Mello's bitch. It led to a confrontation between the two to close NXT last night, where Joe Hendry was able to blast Trick in the knee, and this trick shot knee with the guitar, and then laid him out with the standing ovation. Will Joe Hendry retain the title for the first time, the TNA World Championship, being defended on a WWE Premium Live event, or will Trick Williams make history and become the first active WWE star to win a TNA World Championship? What happens on Sunday? Shad, who you got? And what have you thought about the build to this match?
I think the build has been solid enough. I think a lot of it has obviously happened on TNA, which is always good to see. And I think it's pretty cool that we get an opportunity to see the TNA championship being wrestled on NXT television. And, you know, I think both of these guys have a lot of charisma ongoing to it. Fans are, you know, enamored with Joe Hendry. I think he's just become one of these, like, golden childs of pro wrestling as a whole, from the entrance and all of that. And then Trick Williams, he's a similar case, man. He's a guy that really has went from, you know, he calls him Mello's bitch, but being Mello's, you know, heavy, to actually becoming a well-respected historical NXT wrestler throughout his entire time there. And him going through this, you know, new storyline going against TNA with the partnership. I think they did a good job picking the two guys that kind of mirror each other, what they do on respected brands. But man, as much as I would love to see one of these titles flip to the other brand, because I think that would be the intrigue in it, I just can't see Joe losing this belt at, like, I don't know. He's the world champ. I feel like we went through so much with him to get this title. You know, the fans have been beating it like a drum. For him to lose it to a WWE person, I feel like it would not be fair. I think this is an opportunity for Joe to kind of show what he can do, be as over as he is, be the champion, and I got him retaining against Trick Williams.
I want to see. I love Joe Hendry. We've had him on the channel here. We've interviewed him. Love the rise of Joe Hendry and everything he's done and his character. He's one of the more beloved baby faces in all of pro wrestling. And despite how I thought the appearance at WrestleMania made TNA look, it was a net positive for Joe Hendry. It made him feel like an even bigger star. It was a great moment for him, similar to the Royal Rumble appearance earlier this year. I say all of that because TNA, though, have not booked his world title run all that well at all, to say the least. And that's what makes me believe Trick Williams will make history on Sunday and become the first WWE star to win a TNA World Championship, because they already threw out the little feeler on TNA Impact as well. When he was walking backstage, there was security trying to escort him out, and he had a little face-to-face with somebody, and that somebody is who I think is going to beat Trick for the TNA World Championship in his hometown of New York City in July at Slammiversary, Mike Santana. You got to put it on a heel to make that transition. And I think that Trick Williams having a short run where he's able to kind of spread his wings as a heel and kind of explore what his heel character is going to be on both NXT and TNA, I think it's the right thing. Like, like Dion said, he says, I've noticed that NXT have been giving people a babyface and heel run before they call people up to the main roster, maybe to see their versatility. It worked for Braun Breaker. It worked for Carmelo Hayes. It's worked for Roxanne Perez. And I think it's going to work for Trick Williams. And I think that him being a heel, yes, he was much more over as a babyface. He was a beloved babyface in NXT with the whoop that trick chance and everything he did. But I think that when he makes the transition to the main roster, they need to cut out all this bullshit with Melo don't Miz, and they need to pair him up back up with Carmelo. Pair them up, but not as, a main star or main character and sidekick, more as equals in the tag team division, where I think that they can elevate the SmackDown tag team scene together as a duo. And I think that Trick being a heel for now is getting him ready for probably this summer when he makes the move to the main roster. So I'm going with Trick, new TNA World Champion.
Okay, I like that. I want Trick to win. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I think that would be pretty major for him. And I totally forgot that they had the stare down between him and Santana. So that's gonna be that was pretty dope. That moves me because I'm a big Mike Santana fan. So that's hey.
Oh yes. Oh, sign me up, Dion. Trick and Mello versus Street Profits. Yeah. That's like black excellence. That's black excellence right there. Come on.
And that's the thing. Those two could definitely need each other if he does get called up to it. I think Mello is in such a weird holding pattern right now. Although I will say, I think he is the smartest wrestler of all time because he wears that chain for that Andre the Giant. Like, this shit makes it make sense, and it makes it mean like it means something, and it fits his whole style. But like, they've got him being like, they got him in the Ricochet role. They got him being the guy who's a phenomenal wrestler that makes other people look good, but he's eating L after L.
Yeah, he's doing really well on SmackDown, and he got the big win in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and I know there's a lot of people that want more for him, and I do too. I'm a big Mello fan. We've been friends. I've been friends with him since he was on the East Coast. On the East Coast on the independent scene. He actually follows the True Heel Heat Twitter page as well because he followed us back when he was Christian Casanova. So we're always gonna root for Carmelo Hayes here on True Heel Heat. And I think that for now, him and Trick being paired up together, I think is the best way for him to get a push in the tag team scene, at least. So I think that this run for Trick is going to help him for that transition.
Yeah, I agree. I love that idea. That would be great.
Let's talk about the match that you said you're not that interested in, mainly because of the heels. In a 6-man tag team matchup, it's going to be the Culling. Shawn Spears, Nico Vance, and Brooks Jensen with Izzy Dame in their corner versus NXT Tag Team Champions Hank and Tank, along with Josh Briggs. Briggs is here in this situation because he's been left alone yet again after him and Jensen went their separate ways. He had his trip over to Japan at the Pro Wrestling Noah N1, and he became friends with Yoshihiko Inamura. Inamura had his excursion in the US for NXT, where he formed the partnership with Briggs. They came up short time and time again when they had their big opportunities at the NXT Tag Team Championships and at a singles gold themselves. And then finally, Inamura said he wanted to stop holding back Briggs, so he had to head back to Japan. Briggs was left alone. Shawn Spears and Brooks Jensen wanted to talk trash to Briggs. It led to a one-on-one encounter with Shawn Spears on this past week's NXT, where Shawn Spears stole the victory thanks to interference from the Culling. The Culling jumped Briggs, and it was Hank and Tank who said that they would have Briggs's back after their tag team title match a couple of weeks back. They would have his back now that he's alone again, and they did, making the save for Briggs to set up this 6-man tag team matchup. And I said a lot more than I thought I would about this rivalry because this was just thrown together on this card. I was like, when they announced this for this Sunday, I was like, really?
I say, man, you working on them little like production videos that they be having before to make you feel like the buildup was good, or like, because that's kind of crazy. I was like, damn, all of this happened.
I was like, what are we doing? Why is this on the court? Didn't Hank and Take lose to Dark State? Dark State don't want their tag team title shot?
Yeah, this is what I was saying. The men's division is super weak right now. Like the culling to me is just the epitome of a thrown together faction. And Sean Spears, man, God bless him. I'm sure he's a delightful person. Um, he's not his character work is not main guy. He's always to me a side kick. Like when he was doing the stuff with MJF, he was a perfect side guy. You know what I'm saying? For him to be the head of this faction for these young people that are, I guess, lost in the sauce and are going through whatever cult like following he has, it doesn't mesh too well, and it's unfortunate because like I like Brooks Jensen. I thought him and Josh Briggs were a solid tag team, and I don't hate this idea of putting them back together. Josh Briggs to me is someone who I also think is phenomenal. I think for a big guy, he can really work. I thought him and Inamura were a really good tag team. I was hoping they was going to get them belts off of Fraxium just because I think the differences between them character-wise worked in a cool way. I think Inamura had a very nice character where he was very endearing and funny, but when the bell rings, he's chopping the hell out of you. He's playing physical, and it really worked together. And I don't know. I feel like it's just a bunch of guys who are kind of in the stratosphere, kind of trying to figure out what they got to do. And then you got Hank and Tank, who I do think looked really good in the process with winning the belts. But I don't know. It's Fraxium. Fraxium can have a good match for you and me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
True. Yeah.
I don't know what's coming for them to be champions, but I'm nothing against them. A lot of this is just super convoluted. Who wins? I don't know, man. I feel like the culling is gonna win. And I think something's gonna happen with Josh Briggs. I think he might align back and he might join them for some reason. If I was to make a guess, I feel like they might need a way to get a win, because if they lose, I really think they are dead in the water. Like they need to just break it up and try to figure out. And then the other dude, I don't think I've ever seen him wrestle, bro. I don't know.
I think they did some tag team matches against Hank and Tank before they won the. I think they also were in that gauntlet matchup that Hank and Tank won to become number one contenders. But yeah, it's never memorable.
This is the thing with NXT's men's division, and this will be a reoccurring thing as they go through this whole NIL, former athlete, former football thing. You got to teach these big guys how to do something a little different, or you need to position guys a little differently, because all of these dudes are just running the ropes, hitting power bombs, hitting strongman moves, and that's it. There's not a lot of differences. With this guy, I don't really know what makes him stand out. Like he doesn't do a whole lot for me to be like, oh, he's just some imposing threat. Like when I look at someone like Femi, the sheer poise and all that, how he presents himself, it comes off great, and that's a star. But there's a lot of other guys. All the dudes in Dark State literally are the same exact case. All three of them guys, except for DC's own Saquon Sugars. Like they all kind of just do the same shit. They're just hitting all the strong man moves, and they're just trying to be powerhouses. I need a little mix of a little different stuff, and that can even go with character wise. Like I don't need a bunch of just big quiet motherfuckers.
I agree. Like Saquon Sugars is the main one that stands out from Dark State, where he's gonna be good even after Dark State ends. Whereas everybody else is like, I don't know.
Hey, I don't know. You know what? Greg Carter in the comments can maybe attest to me. Saquon Sugars is DC as they come, bro. He a real, yesterday in his promo, he said he used the word "ja like," which is a real like DC slang thing. I was like, I love this dude, man. And he's so funny. Like I like Lucky Ali, man. All of the stuff he does is hilarious. I would have rather him had an opportunity to show that charisma, that DC type of character as a singles guy. But hopefully we get there at some point.
Yeah. Dion says Spears doesn't have the charisma to be a faction leader. I don't believe in him. Yeah, it's true. And yes, Greg Carter says very DC. He probably has Go-Go playing in the locker room.
Yeah, I just need him to come out with like a tray of like wings, fried rice, and some mumbo sauce, and just cut a promo while he's eating that. That'd be the greatest thing ever.
Yes, so true. Dion says that's the problem with developing guys from the ground up. They all have the same training and wrestle the same. That's why NXT Black and Gold was better. They were getting indie guys who developed their own styles. Yeah, and that's why like someone like Javon Evans, that's why he stands out so much on NXT, because he came up on the independent scene and he has a totally different style from the guys that basically started in the PC and had to grow from there. Like Femi is kind of like an exception to the rule, where he just has that kind of demeanor, that regal feel to himself. He has the character to go along with it, where his power stuff stands out because it's a lot more explosive and it has a character behind it as well.
And it's weird because like even like on the women's side, I feel like they have a more diverse bunch. Maybe the athletes are just cut differently that way. Like they pick some people who are like collegiate wrestlers or gymnastics or track runners and stuff like that, where you see different stuff. Like Jada Parker is a person who's from the PC, but she's different than what Kalani Jordynne does. Like they got a little bit more diversity in the styles compared to the men.
True. And speaking of which, well, I'm actually gonna go. Yeah. I'm not gonna go for the culling. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm gonna go with Hank and Tank and Josh Bray. And we don't need to just get into this theme of Hank and Tank can't win trios matches, and that's how we're gonna set up all their challengers. So have Hank and Tank get the victory here, and hopefully,
I respect it.
Hopefully, it's a decent enough matchup. But I think this one is going to be a decent enough matchup, as we got for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Sol Ruca will defend against the aforementioned Kalani Jordynne, the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion. It was over the last couple of weeks, Kalani Jordynne has put her sights back on the North American Gold, wanting to regain the championship following Sol Ruca winning the 6-way ladder match at Stand and Deliver. Zarya was standing in the way, the tag team partner of Sol Ruca. Kalani faced her one-on-one a couple of weeks back, with Zarya picking up the victory. But then in their rematch on last night's NXT, with the added stipulation that if Kalani won, she got an opportunity at the Gold at Battleground. It was Zarya and Sol Ruca having a miscommunication, with Zarya accidentally spearing Sol Ruca, who was on the apron. It led to Kalani Jordynne stealing the victory with a roll-up. Can she steal another win and become the first ever two-time Women's North American Champion? We find out on Sunday. What have you thought about the build to this matchup? Who do you think wins at Battleground?
I mean, the build to me is not I think the build of it at the end of the day is between Sol Ruca and Zarya. I think this is just a way to get to that. So for that, I'm fine with it. I think that is the marquee match, the marquee feud, them splitting up. I think that split up is well needed. I think Zarya needs to go heel. I think Zarya needs to show what her aesthetic displays. So I hope we do get that. But I mean, I'm excited for this match. Like I'm excited for any match that has two incredible wrestlers. I think both women are great. I think they both can do stuff that athletically is mind-boggling. I mean, Sol Ruca to me is just like created in the laboratory. Like she has to be AI. Like the stuff that she's able to do physically is out of this world. Someone who is that good. And I always say, like, if she didn't get injured, who was to say that she wouldn't be where Tiffany Stratton is right now? Because I think both of them were kind of going on that same trajectory. But I'm glad that she's getting an opportunity to do what she does. And then I really like Kalani Jordynne. I think she's one of my favorite women on the NXT roster. I think she's one of these talents that kind of comes out and delivers, and I think she's definitely showed a little bit of more of a sassy side to her character as of late.
Yeah.
So I'm liking it. I do have Sol Ruka retaining. I think that Zarya and her is the match, and I think that is probably the person that potentially can get the belt off of her. But I think if they are going to do her and Zarya, she's going to have the belt. So I'm going to go with Sol.
I think that this is going to be one of the best matches on the show because people tend to forget these two women nearly stole the show at Heatwave last year when they had their version, the female version of Ricochet versus Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
And I think that they could do that again because these are the two most athletic women on the entire NXT women's division. And the NXT women's division is just light years ahead of the men's division. And I think outside of the other women's matchup on the show, this is probably the one that I think is gonna do the most and get over with the crowd the most because they're just gonna be out there flipping, doing all their athletic stuff. We're gonna see some dives, we're gonna see some springboards. In the end, though, I think Sol Ruka will retain because the bigger money matchup, like you said, is Zarya and Sol Ruka, and Zarya needs this badly because Zarya has fell so behind. Like when Jordynne Grace was doing her promo on NXT this week and saying, "Oh, there was 3 big free agents from last year. It was me, Stephanie Vaquer, and Julia." I was like, "No, it was Zarya." It was Zarya. It was Zarya at that time. You became a free agent so far after these ladies.
Yeah.
These ladies was in the summer of last year was being talked about, and the third person was Zarya. It wasn't you. We knew that you were coming. We didn't even have a question about that. We knew that we were all talking about Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, and then the one that wasn't that known was Zarya. And when Zarya came in, they gave her all this big push, and then they kind of just ease back from that. Like when after a while, like after maybe a month or so, they paired her up with Sol Ruka, and she's kind of had to melt into the background. I think the way that you kind of push her to the forefront is turning her heel, where she should have been heel right from the beginning of her NXT run, and having her feud with Sol Ruka. But Sol's got to win this to get that done. For
sure, yeah. I think it's like you said. I think she even popped out and looked at both of those women too. So that's one of those cases where like she's definitely it'll probably come now that there's more open spots at the top of the division with Julia and Roxanne both being on the main roster. I could only imagine that Grace and Vaquer will follow them at some point in the near future. So I think it'll be an opportunity for her to really show her worth and try to become one of the main people at the top of a very still stacked women's division.
Very, very stacked. But we're going to ease back from the women's division for a bit here and talk about the matchup that you said you're looking forward to because it's a long time coming. It's a grudge match. It is the Don versus the Underboss as Tony D'Angelo goes one-on-one with his former best friend, Channing Stacks Lorenzo. For months, we have seen the drama going on within the D'Angelo family with little small teases that Channing Stacks Lorenzo wanted to be the Don, wanted to be the leader of the group. He was making decisions, making moves behind Tony D's back. It led to a big 6-man tag team matchup with Dark State at Stand and Deliver, where Stacks finally showed his true colors. He low-blowed Tony D, betraying the Don, helping Dark State pick up the victory. And since then, Stacks has been playing mind games with Tony D. He tried to basically snake Luca Crucifino from behind Tony's back, but when it looked like Luca was not gonna go for that, he invited him out to a deserted street, and we haven't seen or heard from Luca ever since. That led to Tony D making the decision to put Adriana Rizzo, the Riz, in her own safe house, but then Stacks found out where the steakhouse was, where the the house was at and basically was about to go and see Riz, but Tony D rushed over there and it led to an attack by Stacks, laying him out with the entire iron and setting the challenge for Battleground, where it will finally go down. Stacks versus Tony D. 2 years of friendship have come to this. Who do you think wins on Sunday? And what have you thought about this whole storyline that dates back all the way to 2022 when Stacks was first introduced with what was his name? Two Dimes or
yeah.
Two Dimes? Yeah, Two Dimes back in those days. Bo, what do you think about this one?
I like it, man. I feel like these factions like we had with Chase U, Metaphor, and the family, they're such a nice organic feel to what NXT has built. Especially you talk about the people a part of it, especially these two guys. These guys were kind of the start of it. Obviously, Two Dimes is swimming with the fishes out in Ring of Honor, I think, right? Is that where he at right now?
Yes, he's in the frat house. And I meant to say safe house. I said steakhouse because it's probably because I'm hungry, but sorry about that.
Talk about a character arc going from a mobster to a frat boy.
Boy.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. But I mean, I like it. I think that this is one of those situations where it is, to me, what is this going to be the swan song for Tony D'Angelo more so is what I'm looking at, because I look at the family, and as great as a faction as they are, I don't know if the entire unit is ready to go to the main roster. I think that Crucifino and the Riz are both so young in their careers, and they still have a lot of developing to do, as well as Stacks. I think this is an opportunity for Stacks to really kind of build himself as a singles guy, as a solo guy. And I want to say this is the swan song for Tony, and I want to say that Tony is going to do the right thing, and he's going to put his young boy over. So I got Stacks pulling out the win. I think we might see some, double agent stuff. Maybe he gets the family to align with him, and that kind of goes in on Tony. But I think those three are still very much needed to stay on NXT for themselves, as well as the roster. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a character like Tony D'Angelo on a Raw or SmackDown in the immediate future, because like the dude's been there for a minute, bro. Like he's
one of the last vestiges of the NXT 2.0 era. It's him and Trick Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because he was there from like 2021 or 2020, right?
Yeah, 2021.
So he's been there for 5 years almost. So he definitely, and I think the good thing about Tony is I think that he showed that he can have some more seriousness amongst his character within the last few years. I think he's pretty much done everything that you can ask him to do in NXT. I think it's a good opportunity to kind of see what he could do on the main roster. He could definitely be kind of a plug-and-play guy to see what you could do on the mid-card division. It's going to be more difficult, I will say that. But with a good character and charisma, I mean, fans, man, they eat shit up like it's whatever. So, yeah, but I got Stacks coming out with the win.
I agree with you. I think Stacks gets the win, and I'm hoping this is the swan song for Tony D, because he's pretty much did everything except for win the NXT championship on NXT. Like, he won the Heritage Cup, he won the tag team titles, he won the NXT North American Championship. He's done everything. He was the first guy to beat Femi. Like, he's done everything that you can, and it's not even just as Black and Gold ended. No, he's one of the first guys that they gave vignettes for in the 2.0 era when they went to the colorful Nickelodeon logo and everything. He was a part of that era. Like him, Trick Williams, those were the guys that are pretty much still left.
Like he came around.
Tiffany Stratton, but like all the people except for like Trick is all called up on the main roster who were like prominent in that era. It was Carmelo, it was Bron Breakker, it was Tiffany Stratton, it was the Liar Valkyrias. They're all on the main roster. The Creed brothers brothers, they're all on the main roster. It's time for Tony D to get that call up and get up to the main roster. He's done his bid. Stacks gets the win, and I'm going to say he does it with help from Luca Crucifino. I always go by the power mantra of Unique from season 2. If you don't see the body, he ain't dead. So we didn't see the body. We didn't see what happened to Luca. He's just been getting money, been on hideout, been in his own safe house, and he's going to come out and help Stacks get the win on Sunday.
Sure, yeah. Now, I think that's going to happen as well.
But that is the big grudge match on this card. But now we got the big double main event. First, we'll talk about for the NXT Championship is going to be Femi defending against Miles Bourne of the NQCC No Quarter Catch Crew in one of the biggest surprise underdog victories in the 25-man over the top rope battle royal 3 weeks ago. It was Miles Bourne who pulled off the upset win, eliminating Ethan Page and Shawn Spears to pick up the victory, the biggest win of his career so far. Miles Bourne, who's always had these jokes around him being hard of hearing, who's talked about now being partially deaf and wanting to represent those who have disabilities, to show them that you can't let your disability stop you from realizing your dreams. And his dream is to become the NXT champion. Despite Charlie Dempsey trying to take the title shot away from him, it was Femi who defeated Charlie Dempsey a couple of weeks ago. But Femi's been very, very impressed with what Miles Bourne has been able to accomplish and what he wants to accomplish. He said it in the face-to-face last night on NXT. He wants to be the top dog. He wants to prove everyone wrong, prove the naysayers wrong, and get the victory and become the top champion in NXT. But there's other people that are gunning for the title. We said before, Trick Williams, Joe Hendry. You even got the winner of LFG, my boy, Bend the Knee, Jasper Troy, who attacked Femi last night on the show. But who's going to pick up the victory here? And will the NQCC get involved in this one? Because there has been a lot of dissension between Miles Bourne, who's trying to break out on his own, and Charlie Dempsey. How do you think that's going to factor into everything? What have you thought about the build? Who wins the NXT championship?
I mean, I think the build has been solid. I think it's one of those cases where I mentioned earlier, they kind of got to throw spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks on the like main event scene for the men. It's another route in this title reign with Oba, but to me it's like it's no different than like the buddy that went against Eddie Thorpe, right? Like I just can't take him serious going against this man. Yeah. This man is the pure dominance of NXT. He's the guy that once he leaves NXT, he will be skyrocketing at the top of the mountain on the main roster. Like Femi is one of them ones. And as much as I think Miles Bourne has been doing great, especially these last couple promos he had coming from a place of, telling his story and all that, he's just another casualty. I don't think the No Quarter Catch Crew even can save him at this point. I mean, I think it's one of those points where the dissension will kind of break with that, because it seems like they like to break up factions a lot.
They do.
I'm not a big fan of, but that'll happen. But I think it's just another win for Femi. I think the match will probably be fine. I don't think Miles Bourne is a bad worker. I think he's got, unlike like the other guys I was talking about, he got a little bit of a different move set, skill set to him and whatnot. But yeah, I got Oba retaining another day in the office.
Yeah, when Miles Bourne won this one, I was just like, I don't know about this one, guys. I think Miles done good with his promo work and becoming this very likable, kind of relatable person and babyface that the fans can get behind. And this matchup's going to go a long way in his progression as he progresses here. But Femi is the finished product. Femi, at this point, he's just ready to drop this title whenever it's time and go to the main roster and start winning more gold. He gonna be on some Gunther status of 80% of the time he been in this company, he gonna be holding the title. That's the type of dominance that Femi has. He's gonna get the victory here, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I haven't seen a guy like his size and just build athleticism and all that since like maybe a Brock. Like the dude really has that kind of it factor to it, and um, you kind of you got to be somewhat of a finished product to get that title off of him, or let that be the moment to let you kind of complete and create to be a finished product. I'll look at a guy maybe like a Ricky down the road or a Javon Evans, but
Yeah.
Miles Bourne, he's so young in his career, in my opinion. I think he's got a lot to grow, and I think this is a good opportunity for us to, have our eyes more on him to see what he does, and hopefully, he could potentially be a North American champ next, or do something of significance from there. But I mean, out of that whole crew, like I think, like I'm still kind of my mind is a little confused because like I see someone like Charlie Dempsey. I think the dude is really, really talented. I think his
Yeah.
work rate is great. I think that's Regal's son. There's some charisma in there. I don't know why he doesn't, get an opportunity to be in these big time matches like that as well.
Yeah, I feel like him and Tavion, they have a bright
Oh yeah.
future as well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there with the No Quarter Catch crew, but they don't seem long for this world. But that is, I said it was the double main event, but let's be real. This is the real main event of the show for the NXT Women's Championship. Is going to be Stephanie Vaquer defending the gold against former TNA Knockouts World Champion Jordynne Grace. This has been a matchup that they basically have been teasing since Vengeance Day, when Jordynne Grace officially became part of the WWE roster, joining NXT. They had their stare down with Julia. Now those three women have become two, because both women have picked up victories over Julia. First, it was Stephanie Vaquer, who became a double champion, becoming NXT Women's Champion and Women's North American Champion at Roadblock in Madison Square Garden in March. She then beat Julia, Jada Parker, and Jordynne Grace at Stand and Deliver to retain the NXT Women's Championship. And then in the number one contenders matchup, in a brutal drop on people's head matchup with Julia, it was Jordynne Grace who picked up the victory to become the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. Both women said their final words. They want to be the alpha. They want to be the number one star in the NXT Women's division, what they think is the best women's division in the world, and the winner of this matchup will be just that. Shadi, what have you thought about the build to this matchup, and who walks out the NXT Women's Champion?
I think the build has been fine. I think the build is just these two women going toe to toe with each other. I think the matchup kind of sells itself. Yeah, I mean, Stephanie Vaquer to me is just an undeniable talent. I think that she has the pure like presence that can make everyone, break their neck and just see what she's gonna do. She just comes out with the look, everything tied to it, and then what she does in the ring. Like once the bell rings, she goes out there, and they found her little thing with the whole, signature move and all of that. Like the crowd just is so enamored by her. But on the other end, Jordynne Grace is really remarkable too, man. This is a woman that kind of held that knockouts division on her back for her time there. And it felt like a big deal when she went to the Royal Rumble, and it feels like a big deal her coming over here. And this is a difficult one because you can make a great call for both women. I think that this is the bread and butter of the entire PLE. I think this is the rightful main event. This should close out the show. And I expect them to put on a clinic. The winner to me is going to be the person that is going to hold this women's division down. And I think the loser is the person that goes to the main roster. If you would have asked me this when Jordynne Grace got signed, I would have said that it'll probably be a road for Stephanie to just get over and allow Jordynne Grace to kind of go to Raw or SmackDown. But it's that moment they let Stephanie go on Raw and wrestle Io Sky. And seeing how over she is to that crowd, that has me really second guessing this and really saying it might be the other way around, where Stephanie might lose the belt and allow Jordynne Grace to kind of hold the fort down, and they just put her on the main roster. You know, I don't know if all those Money in the Bank slots are filled or not, but oh man, I think I'm gonna go with Jordynne Grace getting the win. I think Jordynne Grace could benefit being champion, having a little bit more of a run on NXT. I think her going to the main roster right now, she could possibly get lost in the shuffle a little bit. Where I think if Stephanie gets an opportunity, I could see them putting her in a qualifying match and then being on that Money in the Bank and probably potentially winning it, just because they don't really got a surefire winner. And I think her winning it, maybe cashing in on an EO or a Tiffany would make a lot of sense. I just think once she gets to that main roster, I think she's going to be on an island hanging out with like Bianca, EO, Rhea Ripley. Like, she's got that potential. So I think this may be the way to kind of get the belt off of her and let Jordynne kind of continue to do what she does and build her up a little bit. I'm going with Jordynne Grace.
I mean, I think I'm gonna change my pick as the days go on about this one. This is the legitimate toss-up of the entire show. This could go either way. I don't necessarily feel like whoever loses this matchup is going to get called up to the main roster, only because I think that there's only one scenario where I see the loser of this going to the main roster, and that's if Jordynne Grace gets the win. If Jordynne Grace gets the win, yeah, it's definitely because Triple H put up his gun at Shawn and was like, "Put your hands up. Give me the Stephanie Vaquer. Give me the La Primera. Give me it right now. Right now. I don't care what other plans you had. Give it to me." Because yeah, she looked like an absolute star. She looked like a standout, a breakout star on the main roster on the Raw after WrestleMania, and then the following week against Ivy Now, and that felt like the tryout to see how she would be on the main roster, and she was over with the crowd. The crowd knew her song and immediately stood up with their attention, and she was able to stand out with the Devil's Kiss and everything. So yeah, if she loses, she's definitely going to the main roster. I just don't know. If I knew when the WWE draft was, then I would have a better idea of who was going to win this matchup. For now, though, I'm going to go with Stephanie Vaquer because I can easily see her retaining and then pulling an Asuka and relinquishing the title to leave out. So she had won both titles and then relinquishes both titles. I can see them protecting her that much where they don't want her to take another loss. Her only loss was to somebody who's already been released, which was to Shotzi. That's her only loss since she got signed to WWE.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
but yes, I think I'm gonna go with Stephanie on this one
for sure. And man, the roster being so deep, I'm so glad that they are making little call ups. Because like I think the main roster, especially on a mid card division, is like they're fiending for some hitters and some names to be on there. You know, like even to fill up for people who would just be competitors. Like I would even, pick a couple other women, maybe like a Lash Legend or a Jada Parker given the opportunity. I mean, I don't know if that will happen just yet, just because I think they might need them for the top of the card or whatnot at some point. But like, Vaquer, like once they get Vaquer and Grace, and now obviously Roxanne and Julia, like they're pretty set, and they need to make that a little bit more of a point. Like I think on SmackDown, they've done a good job with Lyra and Becky's whole feud going on. It's made the IC title
on Raw, yeah.
I mean, sorry, Raw, yes, for the IC
yeah,
title.
SmackDown's lacking.
No,
they needed Julia. They needed Julia badly.
No, the U.S. title reign has been underwhelming, and Chelsea Green, I think, is a great character, and I think she's great overall. But how her reign was, and I like Zelina Vega. They just they never put a lot of emphasis and care into her for her to have people to care for her title reign. So now her reign looks underwhelming. So get in Julia, get someone who's gonna beat the shit out of girls, and I like this her on Raw with this little different look with the with obviously with her braids now, but like having like I think she had like walking in with like camo pants. Like she kind of has like a bit of like a Marina Shafir like badass like feel to her just walking in. Like I want that. Like I want her to just really like beat up these girls and call names and whatnot. So that should be fun. I'm glad that she got there.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to what Julia's gonna do on SmackDown. Looking forward to what they're doing with Roxanne. They already got her in the Judgment Day mix, which I'm here for. I'm here for all of that. But yes, sure. I'm gonna go with Stephanie for now to give those two the opportunity to shine without Stephanie stealing the spotlight from them. So yes, I'll go with Stephanie here. But that's the end of our predictions for WWE Saturday night's main event and NXT Battleground. Appreciate all of y'all for joining us in the chat, giving us your predictions on the card. We got a couple of people who are indifferent about it as well, saying, "Oh, Nutty says I got Grace here. Vaquer is above NXT now." We also got I Make Beats who agrees. He's going for Jordynne. We got Power Driver Finisher who says Stephanie. We got Ace who says Stephanie retains. Power Driver Finisher adds Stephanie because WWE don't like TNA stepping on their toes and to keep flaunting Vaquer in front of TK's face. I can see that. I can see that for sure. But we will see who wins on Sunday at Battleground. But we got to thank Shadi for joining us today, giving us the knowledge, dropping the knowledge, and showing us some love here on our preview. Appreciate you for joining us, good sir. So I want to give you the floor. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, what you got going on the Wrestling Republic, and anything else you want to plug. The floor is yours.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. As always, bro, thank you for having me. It's always a blast to talk wrestling out here with the good people at True Hill Heat, especially SP3. But yeah, man, y'all can follow me on X. It's AHKDMV703, so AHKDMV703 on Instagram. It's Shad Tawks Graps, spelled just how it is over there. You can also follow the Wrestling Republic page on IG. We have a show every single day of the week on our daily broadcast. So we will always have that as well as other side shows that I'm part of with NXT Off the Air right after NXT is done, as well as Sunday Spotlight. We just had an interview on our second channel, the Wrestling Republic Undercard, where we had an opportunity to interview the good brother Chris Slade from the DMV, who just wrestled at this past GCW show out in the DMV. So we got more interviews to come. We also interviewed Cameron, Ariane Andrew, formerly known as Cameron. So, peep that way. We really trying to make moves out here, man. But that's all I got, man. I appreciate you, bro, man. This was fun.
Always fun chopping it up with you. So go over and support him on all the social medias on YouTube, Wrestling Republic. And yes, I just confirmed this because I saw it in the chat from Alex Alberto. Yes, Roman Reigns just got casted as Akuma in the live action Street Fighter movie. He's going to blow up. Yeah, Roman is not long. He's doing 2 more years tops in WWE, and then he's in Hollywood.
Wow, that's a big gig. Congrats to him. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's huge. But yes, so much love to the big dog, to the tribal chief, our head of the table. We've been shooting in the Roman gym for a long time. But follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat, patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month, the best place to support us when we are not live here. Plus, we got additional content over there. We got dropping later today, our TNA Under Siege preview, where I'll give you my predictions for TNA Under Siege, which is this Friday on TNA Plus and Triller.tv. So go over there, show us your support at Patreon, where we got some exclusive content just like that. And of course, we got plenty of content for you to enjoy here on the channel, like Rated Raw review from yesterday with myself and Top Guy JJ. I will be back tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time with AE Ramble reviewing tonight's AEW Dynamite and Friday at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, we got our AEW Double or Nothing preview with myself, Jay News, and Joe Hobart of the Late Night Grin and Wrestle Purist. The flagship podcast on Saturday at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time. It will be myself, Miss Chrissy Love, the True Draw Josh, and special guest Sat E. Niangi of Wrestle Talk. So join us for that as well. And of course, we got reviews for WWE Saturday Night's Main Event on Sunday and Monday for AEW Double or Nothing 2025 and our watch party on Sunday. So join us for that as well. But thank you so much to Shadi. Thank you so much to all of you who are watching. Drop the thumbs up, share this video, and subscribe if you are new. This has been our WWE Saturday Night's Main Event and NXT Battleground previews. We are signing off until next time.